Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to a conversation about your Kundalini awakening experience. Today, myself and Santara, we are at the Wild Horse Lookout in eastern Washington State, in the great Northwest of the United States. And we're trying to do the show from here. Not sure if this is going through. Doesn't look like Skype is really, or not Skype so much, but Blog Talk. Doesn't look like Blog Talk is working so well, but I guess it is. I see what I have to do now. Okay. Well, let me start again as I usually do. Here we are, and there we go, and I have Her Holiness to make her announcements.
Hello, everybody. This is Shintara, and here are my announcements. The announcement is about where you can go if you want to make a donation to support the work that is done on Kundalini Awakening. The address is www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com. And on the upper right-hand corner, you will find that donate button, and it's very easy after that. If there are different ways that you would like to make a donation, you can contact me at kundalinimatters@gmail.com, and I can let you know how to do that. Here's Chrism.
And passing the phone. Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome the people that are calling from the 651 area code and the people calling from the 347 area code. And welcome to everyone who may be listening on their computer. Unfortunately, we are not given the option of starting the chat room on the iPhone. So I'll try it here, but it doesn't seem to want to cooperate that way. So I just want to, let you know right now that for those of you that would like to get into the chat room, well, the Blog Talk is apparently not iPhone friendly. I'm staring at it right now, and it's trying to upload these the chat room components, but it's just going to sit there spinning. So if you'd like to call in, the number is 347-934-0026. That's 347-934-0026. So, hello, everyone. Today, I'd like to talk with you about it concerns people wanting to persuade you that because I don't allow other teachings or other teachers onto the groups that I teach in, that therefore I am abusive and I'm not allowing for free choice and things such as that, and I'm just wondering how I'm wondering how anybody who's teaching a spiritual subject is necessarily open to other teachers coming in and advertising their ideas, advertising their sites, advertising themselves, personal aggrandizement in somebody else's classroom. I'm just a little, to me it's fairly obvious that this is not the right thing to do. It is not the right thing to do, and I don't, and I will not allow that to occur. That this does not make me a bad person because of that. It might to the people that are trying to come on board and talk about how unapproachable I may be in their eyes, or how when I remove them from the group because they want to do these things, what a terrible person I am. I just want to let you know that regardless of how these people portray myself or the teachings that are given through me, that, the regular person needs to really make an informed judgment. I'm giving these teachings away free, and these are public groups, and because I'm not allowing a certain minister or priest or guru or what you may call them access to the populations of my group, well then, they're going to end up maligning me no matter what, and I don't really care. But for the people that are seeking out information, I don't want you to let that dissuade you from just partaking of the information in any way that you can. Once again, these groups are free; they're open to the public. Everybody is able to access these teachings if they have the internet, and partake of them and apply them or don't apply them. It's not, such a big deal. It's something that Santara and I were talking about earlier in our drive from Seattle. We're on our way to Spokane right now. We're about halfway there. Beautiful place. I wish I could video it for you. But we were talking about how in our society victims are always believed. They are always believed, no matter how fallacious their assertion may be. Anybody that portrays themselves as a victim, in the eyes of the general public, at first, will be believed. And so these people come onto the groups, and they're rude. They try to make their teachings. They try to make their posts, and I take them off, or I ask my administrators to take them off, and they do, and then they come back and they write on their page, these horrible, horrible, terrible things, and they make themselves look like victims. Because I think some of them know that victims are believed at first to be credible. And I'm going to suggest that is not so. That is not so. Victims are merely victims because they choose to become that way. Now, I'm not talking about a rape victim or a victim of theft or anything like that. I'm talking about these trolls that will come along on internet groups and try to stir things up, and then, when they stir things up in the population, then they can comfortably sit back and go, see all the trouble I stirred up, therefore there's so much ego in this group, therefore this group is not worth listening to, therefore the information that is presented on this group is wrong. And so I just want to say that I'm not going to let you on, folks. For you who are advertising, you who are there to kick dirt in people's faces, I'm not going to let you on. And you can pillory me till the cows come home, but it's just going to be the case. And I'm going to continue, and the other administrators, the other people that are really, really into actual Kundalini awakening scenarios, they too can see through your bluff, and they too can see through your mantle of self-aggrandizement. You're not going to come on. And I know our groups, almost all of our groups, are unique in the way that they're not free speech groups. They're free speech Kundalini groups, not free speech advertisement groups. And this is where a lot of people begin to have a very, very strong misunderstanding about what is or is not allowed. We have a motorcycle going by. Yay. Looks like he just wants to make a turn. Let's see if we can get this window up. Anyway, here we go. So I just want that to be known. I want that to be known and understood by those of you who are on the group and who are listening and participating. I'm not really interested in being a billboard sign for any and all technique or teacher that comes down the pike, and I'm not going to. And if that rubs a lot of people the wrong way, and they want to make themselves out as victims, and if certain a certain percentage of the population perceive that victim as being, truly abused, well, then so be it. So be it. And I will just allow the Kundalini to bring to the KAS-1 or the Kundalini Awakening Systems groups those people who actually want to learn about the Kundalini, participate with the Kundalini, and partake of the Kundalini. And I'm saying this publicly right now on Blog Talk Radio, and I'm going to post this on my groups too. And, pretty much anybody can listen to these Blog Talk Radios as well. So, those of you that are posting or trying to advertise yourself in one way or the other, just be warned. Save yourself from victimhood. Oh my gosh. Save yourself from the tortures and abuses that Chrism, is fully willing to ladle out upon you. And maybe just start reading a little bit about what the site is. Who knows? Maybe the actual Kundalini will come to you as well, and then you'll begin to understand where we're coming from and why we do what we do. So there's that. There's that aspect. I would also like to I welcome you to call if you wish. The number is area code 347-934-0026. 347-934-0026. And as far as I can tell, we are recording. I do not know, not quite sure how this works with the iPhone. The iPhone is what I'm able to use at the moment, and so this is what is being used at this time. And so we'll go ahead and continue with this. Had a Kundalini Awakening seminar, a beautiful, wonderful, glorious, fantastic, excellent seminar in the castle in Port Townsend, Washington State. And I would like to thank Elizabeth Dalton Gonzalez and her husband, Al Gonzalez, for hosting the seminar. I'd like to thank the staff and the owners of Manresa Castle in Port Townsend for providing such a beautiful venue for our seminar to occur in. I'd like to thank all of the attendees of the seminar for their excellent participation, and I'd like to thank Dharma Sound for their participation in the Kirtan elements of the seminar and of the talks preceding the seminar. And so just a wonderful experience and an experience that I'm going to have segue into a portion about the Shakti Kundalini. When a person is having Kriyas, and I'm talking particularly the shape-shifting Kriyas, or Kriyas where one becomes what the Shakti flowing through them wants them to become. And that can be a jaguar, that can be a spider, that can be a tiger, that can be a bird of many different varieties, that can even be a god, say, of the Hindu pantheon, someone like Kali, or someone like Shakti herself coming through a person. I think it's really important for you to realize that this can indeed happen. I'm starting the car up here a little bit because it's getting really hot in here. This can indeed happen, and it will look fairly strange to anybody who is watching it, and it can be fairly disconcerting for anybody who is watching this. I think it's important to note that when you see a person or feel yourself going into these kriyas, well, if you feel yourself going into these kriyas, that's a completely different scenario. Okay, that's a completely different scenario. The Kundalini will come into you and it will begin to ameliorate your experience along the lines of what it wants to express through you. However, people who are watching this, they may have a completely different experiential scenario presented to them. something that can be quite frightening. The goddess is not easy. Shakti is not the easiest conscious energetic form to have come into you, number one, and then to have her express herself through you, number two. There can be a lot of screaming involved. There can be a lot of growling involved. There can be a lot of percussive noises involved, pounding on walls or scratching on the rug or pounding on the floor. I mean, she's a very, very expressive consciousness when she is infusing the person's five-body system. And even though no damage is incurred upon the person themselves, the person having this, you, the audience of someone having this experience, you just need to go into extremely sacred space. Visuals and noises beyond what you could believe a human voice could make will be emitted. It will sound like there is a tiger in the room. It will sound as if there is a demon goddess in the room. It will sound in these ways, and you just need to accept it, and you need to be okay with it, and you need to buckle down and put your emotional seatbelts on and just get ready to go with it. Go with it and flow with it. Hold that person in sacred space. You're not giving them a healing because there's nothing to be healed from. You're just being given an incredible gift of being in the presence of a person that is being infused by Kundalini grace. And that is a huge deal. That is a huge gift because literally what is occurring is the divinity is appearing in front of you, infusing that individual. Think about that. Divine Goddess, God, Mary, Kuan Yin, Shakti is coming and presenting herself to you through her interactions with that person that's on the floor right in front of you, going through all of these experiences right there in front of you. So for those of you that haven't had a spinal sweep, for those of you that are being drawn into this path because you know not why, and yet you're being drawn into this path, be advised. This is a real thing. This is something that can be videoed and photographed, although I would have to wait for the Shakti to give me permission and the individual themselves to give me permission to do that videoing or photographing. I could have done it. But, that's not right. That's not something that you just surprise them. Oh, by the way, I videoed you while Shakti Kundalini was turning you into a spider. Hello, appropriateness. No. Not going to do that. Not going to do that. And I'm going to ask for Santara's her take on this.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I also was there, and it was what's the word I'm looking for? It was a gift to be there in that presence, because it is the presence of the Kundalini Shakti that we were in, and I was in devotion at the time and was very aware of this. I experienced this myself as well, and it was, I suppose, for me, the first time, even though I wasn't looking, I could hear. And it was the first time I had heard that. I didn't even have to look anyway, because I knew and I could feel what was being done, having experienced it myself. And it is a very, very strong and powerful infusion that occurs when this is going on in your body. And it's something that when you surrender to, it is the most amazing isn't even right, but it is just an incredibly blissful and strong infusion that you feel in your body, and there's nothing else you can do when this is going on. This is what you just want to do. It completely overtakes you. It's a surrender, it's a devotion, it's a communication, it's a dance, it's an expression, it's a reception. It is so many things, and it was a gift to be in the presence of that the other day. So.
Yeah, I second her descriptions wholeheartedly. I mean, it was all those things that she just described, and more, really, as she said. I mean, in many ways, this is beyond words. The grace of it is beyond words. The inculcation of it is beyond words. The infusion and the transformative aspects of it are beyond words. And so, really, really understand that. And it was a real gift to have this. With Rosemary and Eileen and the various new people that were showing up, and Amelia, Elizabeth Dalton Gonzalez was there as well, and really, 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 really wonderful experiences. And we also had some very strong devotional experiences as well, and the same people were there with the addition of Carolyn. And for those of you that are on the Kundalini Awakening ! Group, Carolyn is just, wow. She has an amazing, powerful presence herself, and she has put together a website, and I'd like to go ahead and give this website out right now. It is www.chrism, CHRASM, Kundalini, Chrism, Kundalini, KUNDALINI.com. And it is another of our informative outlets for the Kundalini that is coming through Chrism at this time, and a way of providing information and support for people coming through the beginnings of this energetic experience. This amazing, divine energetic experience that people are having. At this time, I would like to take a moment to really appreciate and thank Amelia Santara for her many, many, many gifts and graces that she herself and her husband John give to the world at large through the teachings that are received from this Blog Talk radio broadcast. And so, Amelia, thank you so much. And thank you, John O'Connor, as well. I'd also like to thank Fash G. Ford for his excellent work as a moderator on almost all of the groups in the KAS system. I would like to thank Elizabeth Dalton Gonzalez. I would like to thank Carolyn as well. I would like to thank Magdalene de Deus for her contributions as a moderator. I would like to thank all of my moderators, Elliot, and the other many moderators that we have, because our one group has grown to over 8,000 people. I think it's at 8,100 people. And
could we open the door for a moment?
No,
there's no one here.
I understand. Just Centaur is complaining about the heat generated in the car. She wants to open the door, but I'm pretty sure the wind will come in and start making noises. And I also want to let people know that this is a show that is only going to last for an hour, because I have to be conscious of the amount of I don't have an unlimited information plan, and so I want to make sure that I don't exceed that plan. So it'll be an hour or less. But anyway, in the meantime, I'd also like to direct your attention, in addition to Carolyn's website, the www.chrismkundalini.com, and I'd like to direct you to the YouTube channel, which you can access from Carolyn's website, and go to YouTube. That would be chrism.kundalini on the YouTube network. You can also get all the blogs on Carolyn's website, and you can get the many different groups and venues that are offered on Carolyn's website too. I'll be opening another website in the UK soon, and that will begin to take off as well as the books. We have one book on Amazon right now. I just have to create a bank account to connect to that service, I guess it is, and we'll begin to offer teachings, through that book and through the other books. The next book is going to be Dream Interpretation, and the Safeties Protocols will also be written down first in an electronic Kindle form, And then you can have the option of having it printed on paper so that you can pretty much carry it anywhere. I would recommend the printing on paper simply because, you're not always in an area that has internet. Boy, do I find that out. Try going to Bosnia and getting internet. Try going to Croatia and getting internet. Try going anywhere in France. No offense, Magdalene. getting internet. It's not easy at all. And, gone are the days of free internet, my friends. Gone are the days of free internet. And so I would suggest getting the book. If it were me, and I was listening to this Chrism guy, and I really liked what he was saying, and I was following him, I would get the paper book so that I could put it in my backpack and forget about the internet. That's what it would be for me. But you go ahead and make your own determination based on what your individual needs are, and go from there. I wanted to thank Elliot Brodzinski and for the fine work he does on KAS, but also for the fine work he does in his massage practice and in the work he does in balancing goodness and injecting goodness into the unspeakable. And Elliot knows exactly what I mean. Elliot is a knight in lit up armor, and he has no problem going and finding and responding to people in need within the realms of spirit release, possession, hauntings, things of that nature. Elliot is uniquely qualified for those types of experiences for people who are not undergoing Kundalini. Often for people who are undergoing Kundalini, those types of experiences serve as tests. They serve as strengthening tests. You might consider it Kundalini gym work. Okay, which leads me to another conversation that was brought up during the groups. It has to do with entities, of course. And, how do you get rid of them, and what do you do about them? And, and I'm going to say, unless, if you're in a Kundalini awakening experience, then your entities are being allowed upon you by the Kundalini. And in some cases, she's inflicting them upon you, just so you can begin to develop levels of courage, levels of self-validation, levels of self-worth and strength, inner strength, outer strength, so that you can develop these qualities while your divine temple is under construction. Because the bricks that are made of fear or anger or revenge or abuse or victim energy, well, those are about as strong as a plastic straw in a hurricane. I mean, it's not very strong at all. And she recognizes that need for the individual to have these experiences. She knows what that's going to include. She knows how long it may take for them to develop these things, but let it go. Do not run around the world trying to find, my house is haunted. I need somebody to take that away. If you're not in a Kundalini awakening scenario, well, that's a different story. And a man with the high ethics and excellent credibility that Elliot Brodzinski has, he can come over and he can do that work upon you and upon your house and the environment's there. And he's good at it. So just FYI. Do you have any questions that you've collected today, Santara?
Well, I have 2 questions, Chrism, because I didn't have much internet. The first question is, does the Kundalini want us to remain silent regarding our insights and growth?
No, but it doesn't necessarily want you to blow your horn about it either. Your insights and your growth are fairly customized to your scenario, but we as humans, we share qualities, we share similarities, and so therefore many of those insights and understandings can be shared. It's not so much so that your scenario or your experience is going to be Chrism's experience, or Chrism's experience is going to be Fausti's experience, or Fausti's is going to be Magdalene's, and so on and so forth. It's not going to be that way. But portions and components of the experiences can be shared, such as Kriyas. Everybody gets Kriyas. Everybody gets them unique to their scenario, but they get them anyway. And some of them include a lot of yoga posturing. Now, not everybody's going to get the same yoga postures. Not going to happen. But they will get some of the yoga postures. And so just having a level of reference point that people can read and go, well, I had that happen. I mean, it didn't happen the same way, but I did have that happen. How cool is that? They had that happen too. And so that takes out a level of fear or anxiety or paranoia or misunderstanding from one person to another. So it's always helpful, I think, to share. I think the important point is not to teach unless the Kundalini has given you a mandate for teaching. Okay, that's a different story, because then you start taking on karma. Hello, karma. And so you need to be very, very careful, and you need to be very, very tied in to what the Kundalini wants you to teach for any individual. And from there, I just hear people going, well, I don't believe in karma. Well, karma believes in you. It's so karma believes in you, and you're going to pay it one way or the other. I don't care what you call it. But anyway, what goes around comes around. Let's put it that way. There's a little karma thumbnail sketch. So not to incite fear, however. You don't share your experience to incite fear, to draw people towards you, to protect them from that fear. You don't use it as a tantalizing tool of social upgrade for yourself. You don't, once again, you're not a braggadocio with it. You're not bragging or blowing your own horn with it. Teaching is not easy. I can tell you that right now. Teaching is not easy, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but it is what is happening to me. So there you have it. I mean, is there another one?
One more. I experienced angels appear to me as a child. I'm beginning to believe the Kundalini was responsible for this.
Well, I can see that happening. I can see that very clearly happening. Kids have very little blockages. They haven't been programmed away from their natural abilities, their natural link with divinity, their natural link with spiritual guidance. And so, as a kid, you could certainly see that. I saw them too, and I saw them and more. And I still remember it as clear as a bell. A shock descent, possibly, not necessarily so, though. It doesn't mean that because you have Kundalini now that the angels gave me a Shakti pout when I was 3. It could just be that you had that pattern and you have the memory capability to remember what has occurred. And that also is a good thing. Not everything needs to be heaven sent, except in a broader context, that everything is heaven sent. Perhaps your probabilities indicated that you should have the memories of those angels, the actual experience of the memory of those angels, and that would indeed help you later on when you did have the Kundalini. How do you feel about that, Santara?
Yeah, that makes sense, Chrism. Yes, thank you. Nothing else to add.
Well, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's sort of it for my my questions. But if I could just say a few words, I would really like to say thank you to Elizabeth. It was my first time visiting this part of the United States, and it really was. It's a beautiful area, Washington, and up around Port Townsend. And as always, I've always said this: to meet other Kundalini people at a seminar is fantastic. It was my first time meeting Elizabeth, even though we have communicated on the groups, and I know her through the groups and through adminning. That was wonderful. My first time meeting Rosemary, even though we've heard her here on the show, and she has done her some YouTube videos. To meet a person in the flesh, in person, is really, it's something that I would love every Kundalini person to be able to do. So keep an eye out on or an ear or just watch and see where the next seminar is going to be. And if you have the opportunity or you get a pull to attend, really make every effort to do so, because it is well worth it. And then there's also meeting Chrism and meeting a person, a teacher who is Kundalini awakened, and having the experiences that he has had and the experience of being a teacher. It's just an incredible thing to come to a weekend. Met loads of new people as well and really enjoyed that. So I'm just going to say hello to them. They know who they are. I must say hello to Lauren. Lauren is often there in the chat room with us.
Hello, Lauren.
And, hi, Lauren. The chat room isn't up, of course, but hello, Lauren, anyway.
Yeah.
So it was really cool meeting him because, we've seen him there so often in the chat room, and Cole, and everybody knew that we've met. So that was it.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Elizabeth, and I hope to meet you again in the future.
And as far as future seminars concerned, I believe Her Holiness Rosemary Goliath is also looking at a November date for another Blessed Minnesota seminar, as well as Carolyn is looking at a Vancouver seminar date. And we also have the TCCHE conference coming up in London in late August, and a one-day seminar taking place in the London area in the early days of September from that conference. And so everybody do your best. Go sign up for all you European people and people in the UK. I would love to see you. I'd love to see you, Max. I'd love to see you, Peter. I'd love to see everybody who can make it to the conference, Manisha, and I would love to really meet you and in a way energetically merge with all of you. So please do put that on your calendar, and I'd love to see you in London. Now I'm going to make this show a bit short, but I think we've covered some fairly good topics with it. Anything else you want to say?
No, just say hello to John. Hi, John.
Hi, John.
I'm sure you're listening there. And Helena, who's home from New Zealand, and she's home permanently, is listening as well today. She told me she would be. Hi, Helena. See you in 2 weeks or less. It's less now. So, hello.
Just for everybody to know, we are on our way to Spokane. We are undergoing a land search for our intentional Kundalini awakening community that will be developed somewhere here in the Northwest, unless we get a really, really great offer somewhere else. And we're looking to put together an intentional community where people can have Kundalini and allow the Kundalini to hold them in safety and sanity and harmony and love and beauty. And in all of the different manifestations that comes from a Kundalini awakening upon the human flesh. We are setting up that community so people won't have to become incarcerated in a psych ward or worse, or commit suicide or hospitalized or have their relationships and their world fall apart unless that's part of the Kundalini plan. And then, at least that community is there to help you rebuild along the lines of what your Kundalini may want you to have. And so Santara and I are heading east on Highway 90 in a Nissan, what is it?
I have no idea.
Sentra, I believe, a Sentra. And once again, we're here at Wild Horse Lookout, and we're looking at statues of wild horses because, of course, in the United States, wild horses aren't allowed to exist unless they are statues. And so here we go. We're heading east, and we'll be in Spokane in about an hour. And we'll probably stop there and begin to head south into Idaho, and then we'll be in the area of Lewiston and Coeur d'Alene and all these wonderful, beautiful, excellent places along the Washington, Idaho, and Oregon, Idaho border. And so I just want to send you blessings and greetings from these areas. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And I hope your days and nights are as beautiful as the sights and sounds that we're experiencing here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. Thanks for listening.